took off at 1:30 a.m. and leveled off at the altitude of the unidentified object. Upon approach, the F-4 lost all navigational instruments and communications. The dials and screens in the aircraft went haywire. Nazari was flying only using his instincts and what he could see. He kept his eyes on the UFO and his aircraft pointed at the horizon. Nazari made the decision it was too dangerous to continue this way and was forced to turn around and return to base. As soon as the plane began moving away from the UFO, the instruments came back online. It was as if the UFO had some sort of electronics jammer. A second F-4 Phantom was launched at 1:40 a.m., piloted by Lieutenant Parvez Jafari. He approached the UFO and acquired a radar lock. This meant that there was definitely something tangible in the sky. The UFO was a solid mass that reflected the radar and therefore couldn't have been ball lightning or any form of pure energy. Upon getting closer to the UFO, Jafari reported that its lights were alternating in color from blue, green, red, and orange. They were strobing so quickly that they almost appeared to be solid. The UFO began to move south and Jafari pursued the vessel. All of a sudden, the UFO stopped in mid-air. It just sat there unmoving, as if the law of gravity was a force that it could choose to obey or not. Jafari veered around and stopped the aircraft so he wouldn't collide with it. He turned his jet back around and headed back toward the unidentified vessel at a slower speed. On the return approach by Jafari, something even stranger happened. The UFO dropped a bright object out from its main hull. Jafari reported that the object was headed straight for him and his F-4 Phantom, and it looked like a torpedo made of light. He attempted to lock onto the incoming projectile with his AIM-9 Sidewinder infrared guided missiles, but just after getting a lock, he lost all communications with his weapons console. Jafari was forced to take evasive actions and turn away from the projectile. He jammed the flight stick to the side. The F-4 did a barrel roll and avoided the incoming object. Jafari leveled off again, and when he turned back to look for the object shot at him, Jafari said he saw the device reverse course and rejoin the main UFO. It then seemed to dock with the mothership. Jafari then witnessed another bright object coming out of the main UFO and descending straight down toward the ground. It left a bright trail of light as it descended. The ambient light lit up an area of around 3 kilometers. Then, as if it were done with its business it came to Iran to conduct, the UFO accelerated and shot out of the atmosphere. Jafari watched as the strobing lights faded into the night sky. As the F-4 Phantom prepared to land, it experienced more communication and navigational failures. Upon further investigation, a commercial airliner in the area also reported communication failures at the same time as Jafari, but the airliner did not see the UFO. Ground troops were sent to recover the fallen object, but as they approached the area, their equipment started to malfunction. No trace of whatever the UFO shot toward the ground was ever found, as far as we know. Approximately 3 decades went by without any reports from Iran about UFOs in their airspace. Then, in 2004, strange aircraft were once again encountered by the Iranian Air Force. At this time, Iran was still using a few F-14 Tomcats that they'd purchased from America before the revolution. The Iranian military used the Tomcats to protect their nuclear facilities. Considered one of the most successful fighter jets ever built, its speed, maneuverability, and weapon capabilities make it an aircraft to be feared and respected. The encounter in 2004 went something like this. An alarm was raised when the unidentified flying object was picked up on radar. The UFO entered the airspace above one of Iran's nuclear facilities. Fighter pilots ran to their jets. Mechanics shouted at one another as they prepared planes for takeoff. The pilots were secured in the cockpits by the support crew and the hatch was sealed. The only contact with the outside world was through their helmet. Pure oxygen was being pumped into the face mask to keep them alert. Over their comms, head military personnel were barking orders. An attack on our nuclear facilities could be incoming. We need planes in the air now, the commander shouted. The Iranian pilots flickered the afterburner switch on the engine controls. The F-14 Tomcats accelerated off the runway and into the black sky as flames shot out of the back of their jet engines. As they reached Mach 2, the sonic booms could be heard throughout the desert below. The Iranian military launched 8 F-14s, 8 F-4 Phantoms, and 2 large reconnaissance aircraft to intercept the UFO. The task force encountered objects that they'd claimed had astonishing flight characteristics. One of the F-14 Tomcats tried to lock on to the brightly shining objects, only to have his radar disrupted. The pilot who was tracking the object described it as being spherical and having a green afterburn. It was recorded that whatever engines were producing the green aura were leaving considerable amounts of turbulence behind them. It was like flying through a lightning storm. The plane shook and convulsed uncontrollably. The task force swung out of the turbulent wake of the UFO and tried to flank it from the sides. Before they could get into position, the spherical object shot off like a comet, leaving a tail of green light behind as it exited the atmosphere. The eerie glow was ingrained into the minds of the pilots who were in the task force that day. the Iranian Air Force remained on high alert for any further UFO activity after the 2004 event. Then, in 2012, another strange phenomena occurred. A UFO was spotted in Iranian airspace. It did not show up on radar at first, but then all of a sudden a blip appeared. It was like the ship was cloaked and had just appeared out of thin air. The military scrambled to the F-14s and pursued the vessel, but then tragedy struck. As one of the F-14s took off, it exploded in midair. The aircraft was consumed in a fireball. The smoldering metal fell from the sky and landed in the sands below. Some accounts claim that the UFO attacked the F-14 right after it took off, perhaps using laser beams or a highly advanced weapon that ignited the fuel in the plane's tanks. Both of the crewmen in the plane were killed instantly. Reports by the Iranian government seem to suggest that the UFO had something to do with the mishap, but it's unclear the role the unidentified aircraft played in the catastrophe. Other F-14s flew after the unidentified object. Every time they tried to get a lock on the UFO, their armament systems would malfunction. The dull green light of their screens would appear to be working perfectly one moment, and as soon as a lock was achieved, everything went black. The pilots would try rebooting the systems mid-flight, but nothing seemed to work. The UFO quickly outpaced the F-14 Tomcats as it reached Mach 10, a speed faster than any aircraft currently produced can fly. It was almost like the UFO was toying with the F-14s. With the afterburners, the Tomcats pursued their enemy at a top speed of just over Mach 2. This is 1,534 miles per hour. The encounter ended similarly to the one in 2004. The UFO shot out of the atmosphere with a glowing tail of exhaust behind it. Each of the unexplained encounters recorded incredible capabilities of the UFOs. In all three cases, radar was jammed and weapon systems malfunctioned when the UFO was present. It seems that once the UFO left the general area, the instruments started to work properly again. You have to wonder what whoever was controlling the UFO was after. Their radar jamming capabilities seem highly sophisticated, yet they still allowed the Iranian military to know that they were there. Was it an accident all three times? Or was the UFO testing Iran's Air Force capabilities? Another common factor between the encounters was that the UFOs all left the atmosphere after encountering the Iranian aircraft. They seemed to launch away at Mach 10, which is 10 times the speed of sound, or 7,612 miles per hour. The closest any known human aircraft has gotten to that speed was Mach 9.68. This was achieved by a NASA experimental hypersonic aircraft called the X-43. And why did they shoot out the atmosphere instead of just leaving Iranian airspace? Was there some other vessel waiting for them in orbit around the Earth? Was there a large mothership waiting to launch to light speed once the reconnaissance ships returned? All of the accounts also mention the UFO hovering, which means that they could remain in the air with a velocity of 0. The massive acceleration it would take to go from 0 to Mach 10 in seconds is not possible with our current technology. All of the UFOs were also described as luminous objects. They emitted some kind of light, whether it was the strobes from 76, the green afterburn glow of the 2000s. Could the lights be some sort of undiscovered propulsion from an advanced alien race? Or is there a country on Earth that's discovered an advanced propulsion system that the public is unaware of? There are several theories as to what the UFOs might have been. Iran has claimed that they were secret United States spy planes. They've also suggested that the aircraft were state-of-the-art drones that the US military was using to spy on Iran. However, the United States does not have the technology or capability for achieving Mach 10. It also seems unlikely that a spy aircraft would emit bright lights that would give its position away. Could the UFOs that Iran encountered be extraterrestrial? Is there any evidence to support that aliens have a special interest in Iranian nuclear sites? At this point in time, all we know is that on 3 separate occasions, skilled Iranian Air Force pilots encountered unidentified flying objects with advanced technological capabilities. There seems to be no definitive explanation for the UFOs encountered by Iranian military personnel. Whether the United States has advanced secret technology or Iran has encountered extraterrestrial UFOs, the 3 events still remain a mystery to this day. What do you think the UFOs in Iranian airspace were? Do you think they were secret spy planes or alien spaceships? Let us know in the comments.
Shalom, Akim. First and foremost.
Shalom, shalom. Call halal, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Akakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, to teach and move well. Peace and salutations be to hopeful elect. I'm Brother Tazam Gabar coming at you with another lesson from the Prophets in Babylon camp here in Tampa, Florida. This lesson is going to be going into UFOs. All right. UFOs, the abbreviation UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Object. Now, this is byword that Esau has labeled these vehicles that fly in the air. Okay, but the UFOs are written of in the Bible, man. So we're gonna get into it. UFOs are written in the Bible, or talked about in the Bible, man. Okay, believe it or not, these things, Scripture talks about these things were written aforetime for our learning. Okay, Esau can't tell you what it is. That's why he calls it unidentified flying objects. All he can do is tell you it's a flying object. He doesn't know what it is. All right, we like to call it IFOs, meaning identified flying objects, because we've identified what these flying objects were according to the scriptures, man. You go in the scriptures, you find the answer behind everything, man. All right. Another term they use, they like to say UAPs, meaning unexplainable aerial phenomenon. All right. Aerial meaning air, in the air, something in the air. Phenomenon meaning a mystery, bizarre mystery, man. Okay, so they can't explain it. They can't explain what this is to you. Esau, who knows just about everything, so he claims with all his pride, and he boasts in all this stuff that he knows and all the things that he can do and all his technology, he does not know what the chariots, what the so-called UFOs are. Okay, but the Bible calls them chariots. Okay, chariots of the Lord, meaning angelic vehicles. All right. Chariots, you go into chariots back then, they were like horse carriages, man. Where there were horses, and then there was there were a few horses, and then there was like a carriage where a man would sit inside, or people would sit inside, and the horses would take them to and fro. So the modern day term for that would be vehicle. Okay, transportation, something that transports you, man. Okay, so we call those vehicles. All right. Now the scriptures talks about the Lord coming back in vehicles, man. Okay. There's a book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes. To lift up your eyes means to look up. Okay. And looked, and behold, a flying roll. So, okay, Zechariah is looking in the sky, and he sees a flying roll. Now, if you've never seen a chariot before, back in those days, 2,000 years ago, how would you describe these things to look? Okay, Zechariah said a flying roll. All right. They also like to call them chariots, because what? It was like a transportation. It was something that transports, but it's in the air. Something that moves around, yet it's in the air. All right, a chariot. It's a vehicle. Now, what they can't explain is where it comes from, because these damn devils are atheists, man. They don't believe in the Lord. Okay, the higher ups, the elites, they believe in the Lord. Yeah, they believe in the devil too. Okay, this is how they got the things that they have, yet they deny the power thereof, man. Okay. But a lot of you peon Edomites, man, you don't believe. A lot of them are atheists. The majority of them believe in the universe and believe in chakras and zodiac signs and constellations. All right, simple base people, base men. All right, base men is just like an animal. You believe in what you can see, and this is why we call 2/3 natural brute beasts. 2/3 of our people. All right, it says, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. It says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? Now the chariots come in all different forms, shapes, and sizes, man. All right, but I've seen one before in a space station video that looked like an actual roll. All right, and it was it was moving in all types of weird directions while standing still at the same time in the air, man. It says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? Okay, the angel was asking Zechariah, like, what you looking at? What you see? Explain what you see. And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. All right. It says, then said he unto me, now he was explaining the size of the chariot. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Now, it says it goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. And how Shah comes, this chariot's going to cover the whole earth, man. It's going to cover the whole entire sky. Okay? They shall see him from the east to the west, man. Alright, he's going to pull up over there in Jerusalem. He's going to pull up over here in Babylon. Alright? The Lord's chariot's going to fill the sky. You've seen videos where there was a space recording to where you could see the size of Earth. You know, you could see Earth and then you could see the chariot. And it was like the chariot, which is what they would call a UFO. It was several times bigger than the Earth, man. It looked like you could fit a few hundreds of Earths in there, man. Alright, this chariot was huge. It looked like what they would call a mothership, man. Alright. And it was getting closer and closer. It says, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Now, this is a curse into, you know, the world, man. You're going to see a chariot every now and then flying over the earth. The chariot's got business. They come down here and, you know, take notes, check up. They come out here to deliver judgment. Here, there, you know, here a little, there a little, man. But the chariots are here back and forth every day, man. Alright. They, you know, these are angelic vehicles, angelic chariots. These beings and these chariots, they can decide whether they want you to see them or not. Alright, 1 second is there and the next second it's gone. At unexplainable speeds, man. These things can cloak themselves. They can go invisible. They can disappear and reappear. They can be there without actually being there. You know? I was watching a video on it earlier on so-called UFOs, which inspired me to do this lesson, where a military base was looking on the radar and, you know, they can see the chariot, you know, or the so-called UFO sitting in the air, but their radar was not detecting it. You know, and then when they started to make a fuss about it, you know, it popped up on the radar. So it's like these chariots are toying with the minds of you men, man. Okay, you people of the world, you children of men, you heathens. Okay, you 2/3 Jake. The chariots are toying, you know, mainly these Edomites, man. Okay, the wise men out of Edom, man. Okay, they're scientists. They're you know, they're warlocks. Okay. It's mainly toying with them, man, because the chariots come down and it tests out the technology, you know, of Esau, how good their technology has gotten. You'll see it often where the chariot be racing. You catch a chariot in the video racing the jets, the fighter jets, and the jets cannot keep up. As fast as they're going, they cannot keep up with the chariot. You know, I seen a video where the chariot was racing them, you know. And I'm saying like racing because if the chariot wanted to escape, it, you know, you wouldn't find it. It just disappeared. These chariots have the power to dip into portals in and out in thin air, man. Okay? They can go invisible to where you can't even see them. They can make themselves invisible to your radars. All right? And whenever these fighter jets would get close and they would lock on to their target, to the UFO, all of their, you know, technology will be disabled. Okay, the radars will go out. Their jets will start malfunctioning. Alright, so these chariots are toying with you, man. There was an account where in Iran, there was 3 jets that took off to go check out this chariot. And when they started taking off, one of them blew up. Okay, as soon as it got into the air, it blew up. And the 2 men that were in it died on the spot, instantly, man. Alright, it was engulfed in flames. Alright, it says, for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Alright, let's see. Now this is the curse that goeth forth of the whole earth, man. This is the last thing a lot of people is going to see, you know, before death, or before they get changed into new celestial bodies. This is what's going to appear on Judgment Day, man. Alright? there was a video explaining. I could post it, but it's a pretty long video. And this is brother Manatazak Ben Yum Yum's video. It's about an hour long. They did it on chariots. But it was saying how, I'm just gonna put it up in this video. Lord will, I'll put it up in this video, and it'll be the intro video. But it was a very informative video, and I'm explaining as much as I can from it. But it was technically showing you that these chariots, these men were observing on these military bases. These chariots kept pulling up to these military bases, you know, and it was like it was testing their nuclear abilities, their how far they've gotten in their technology, you know. And when they were explaining it, they were saying it was like multiple colors at the same time, you know. They would look at it and it was changing colors, but the colors were changing so fast you couldn't tell which color that it actually was. You know, you couldn't tell if it was green, it was blue, it was purple, you know. And I found that very interesting, because I look up and I'd be thinking it's like stars, but it could be chariots, because the way the colors are, when you look close and you zoom in with your camera, you can see the shifting colors, you know, instantly. And you can't tell whether it's, you know, when you go to explain it to your brethren, you tell them it was gray, it was black, it was red, it was orange, you know, because you can't. It switches colors so fast, you know. And it was probably the way they explained it, man. But these are actually heavenly vehicles, and we're going to explain why that is. Okay. You ever seen the chariots disguise themselves? They disguise themselves, you know. They can disguise themselves in the clouds or as a cloud, or, you know, it'll look like a ball of fire in the air, man. A good scripture for that was here in the book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud. All right. Which is his chariot. Okay. Could have been disguised as a cloud. Could have looked like a cloud. But it was definitely the Lord's chariot, to lead them the way. And by night in a pillar of fire, which was definitely a chariot. All right. You see it during the daytime. You know, the sun's out. It doesn't need to shine a light for you to see it. It'll disguise itself as a cloud. Cloud can be shaped like a pancake, perfectly symmetrical and circle. Okay. Or it'll just show you what it actually looks like, just sitting there chilling in the air, man. Okay. On one account, I've seen it the other day, which I have a video of it. You know, I'm not going to pull it up. But, you know, if you follow me on IG, it's on my IG in the saved stories section, where it was during the daytime, and I looked up when I was pulling out from work, because I'm a delivery driver. I was pulling out from work, and I looked up, and I could see two chariots like dancing in circles around each other, and they looked like balls of fire just circling in the air, you know. And once I began recording, I was looking at it and I marveled. But once I began recording, one of them, it's so beautiful, man, because it's like the angels in these chariots. They can see all things. They can know if they caught the attention of someone, you know. Even if it's just one person, they can sense when someone's, you know, they caught the attention of someone. They know they're being watched. They know they're being seen. You know, that's why they show themselves, man. You know. But when I pulled my phone out to start recording it, one of them turned its lights out, and I could see it. You know, I could see it for what it was. It was like a dot in the air. You know, when the lights went out from it, it was like a dot in the air, and it was still moving around. And then the other one was still glowing and moving, and then eventually that one went out too. And they both just disappeared into thin air, man. You know, but you could see what they were. When the lights disappeared, you can see them for what they were, man. Okay. Like I said, you can go into my IG channel and check. You'll see it in the Save Stories section. I'm probably going to post that here on my YouTube is going to be in the shorts area. It's going to be a short video because it was like a good, yeah, I don't know, 20 seconds of film. But I was so astounded, you know, I marveled. I was like, oh, I got you, you know, because I was so happy, man, you know. But it says, to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to lead them, to give them light, to go by day and night. So when the Lord was leading us in the wilderness, he had one of his angels in a chariot, you know, in a chariot leading us daily and by night, man. Okay. Now he led us daily in what appeared to be a cloud, and by night in what appeared to be a ball of fire. These are chariots, so-called UFOs, which we like to call an IFO, man. It says, he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. Now this is something that's sitting in the air the entire time. Now he gave us the pillar of fire at night for light, meaning what? This chariot was sitting outside at nighttime glowing while we slept, you know, and it was used as light for us, man. All right, which is Yapa, man. That's the Father. That's our Father, man. And then we followed the cloud, you know, during the day, which was the chariot. It says, that wasn't on that. I'm going to grab here in the book of 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 9. And it came to pass when they were gone over that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee. Now he's telling Elisha, I'm about to get taken from you, you know, meaning something's about to snatch him up or grab him or take hold of him, you know. So, you know, Elijah's saying, yo, I'm about to get taken from you, man. He ain't saying he about to, you know, depart from you or leave you. He said, I'm about to get taken from you. So something's coming to get him. It says, and Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And he said, thou hast asked. So like I got a phone call, but it says, and he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. Okay. Now he was asking Elijah, let you bless him with the double portion of his spirit. And he was saying, you're asking a hard thing, because Elijah had a big spirit on him, man. All right. He had a big fire on him to do the will of the Lord, the work of the Lord. And through that big old fire he had on him, he could do miracles, he could prophesy, man. Okay. He could do many things. Elisha was asking for a double portion of that, man. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, there it is again, taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. Now these chariots, I tell you, they move faster than the speed of light and the speed of sound. Okay, they're uncomprehendable, if you may say. You know, you cannot, you know, measure. You cannot measure or even figure out these chariots because they're not of this world. You know, it's not earthly technology. This is technology of the Lord. It says, and he said, thou, Salakia, verse 11, and it came to pass as they still went on and talked that, behold, there appeared a chariot. There it is, a chariot, a vehicle, man. It says, a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. It says, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Now, it's telling you, just like this, that chariot swept through and scooped up Elijah, man. And it was in an instant, man. It didn't take his time. It came in an instant. Okay? While they were walking, it just swept him up. It says, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes, and rent them in two pieces. And he took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. Okay, that's pretty much it on that, man. All right. But Elijah got taken up by a chariot, which we will call today, so-called UFO, IFO, UAP, you name it. They also like to call them aliens. It's not the case. They call them aliens because they don't know, you gotta understand the meaning behind these words. And people take the meaning, they look at these words, but, they don't look at them for what they actually mean. Alright, they look at alien as in green dude from another planet. But alien just means someone not from here. You even call, they like to call immigrants aliens, man. Okay, because they're not from here. They're not from Babylon or America, so they call them aliens. But the aliens that they're talking about, in this case, they're not from this world, is what they say. Is what they're meaning. Alright? Unidentified flying objects, UFO, they look at the word UFO and leave it at that. Oh, it's a UFO. Not knowing that the abbreviation stands for unidentified flying object, meaning they don't know what the fuck it is. Okay? You can't explain it. Alright? But when these people say UFO, they say it in a sense as if they already know what it is. As if they can explain what it is. Oh, it's an alien. It's just a little green dude from another planet. That's not the case. Alright, these are the vehicles that the Lord and his angels travel in, man. Alright, when they come to visit Earth, it says, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 15, and I'll prove that. For behold, the Lord, YAHAWASHI, will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind. Alright, now, all these words were in that same scripture when Elijah got beamed up. I'll go back to it and read it again. It says, 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 11, and it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot. Okay, there's the first indication. Alright, the first word of fire, the second word, and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And there's the third word, man. All in the same scripture. And you bring it back here to Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. So when those chariots pull up, they pulling up in glory, man. Alright. But the Lord ain't coming down here with hugs and kisses. The Lord ain't coming down here to just show off. He's coming down here to fuck some shit up. Y'all have pissed off the Lord, man. YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI. It says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. It just told you right here, the Lord is coming to slay. He's coming to kill. Okay? It says, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Fear the Lord, man. You got something. You guys got something coming for you, man. All right. And Elijah was being beamed up, as in what they would consider to be a tractor beam. They put it in the cartoons as aliens and UFOs beaming up cows in their tractor beams. But that's what Elijah got beamed up in, man. Okay? And that's what a lot of, that's what the men of the Lord are going to get beamed up in as well. Those tractor beams of the chariots, man. All right? When salvation comes. It says, the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So these devils are going to actually try to fight against the Lord, man, when he comes back. All right, we're going to have Archangel Michael fighting against them. All right, the angels, and Yahawashi himself is going to destroy these people, man. All right, and I'll show you how Yahawashi is going to get down in just a minute. I'll grab it with scriptures. It says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. They're going to get demolished, man. No matter how far your technology goes, Esau, you cannot go against the Lord. You cannot defeat the Lord. The Lord will make a mockery out of you, make a fool out of you. Pride of your heart has deceived you. I think it's Revelation 19. Let's see. No, it might be in Ezekiel. Let me see. The Lord's gonna get down, man. It says. Alright, this is Book of Revelation chapter 19. This is not the one, but this is a good one. This is Book of Revelation chapter 19. I'll start at verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of YAHAWASHI. All right, so when you go to the book of John, I believe. John chapter 1 and verse 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with..." I'll read in verbatim. "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Okay. So there you go. The word of the Most High is what? YAHAWASHI, man. It says, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And why was it dipped in blood? Because he's slain so many, man. He's going to slay many. And the name is called, and his name was called the Word of YAHAWASHI, the Word of Yahweh. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh. Alright. Treading the winepress. When you tread the winepress, your garments get soaked like in red. Okay? That's why I said his garments was a vesture dipped in blood, man. Okay? Because what? He's going to slay many. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's like a King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Alright? Hey, man. Woo, that's Messiah, man. Be prepared for that, man. Alright. I'm gonna see if I can try to grab this for you, though, real quick. Alright, I can't find it, so I'm just gonna end off with that. If I find it, I'm gonna put it in the bio of this class. Alright, but call halal, YAHAWASHI. I truly hope this lesson was edifying to you. I commend Aqua, who watching truth with sincerity. Until next time, I say shalom.